Sarah Chen stood at the helm of the stellar horizon, her weathered hands hovering over the navigation console as she studied the anomaly before her. The salvage vessel's sensors had picked up something unprecedented, a structure that seemed to defy the laws of physics, its crystalline surface refracting starlight in impossible patterns. 20 years of deep space salvage operations had taught her to trust her instincts, and right now every fiber of her being screamed that this was different. The object hung motionless against the backdrop of the Carina Nebula, its translucent hull pulsing with an inner light that reminded her of a heartbeat. "Captain, energy readings are off the charts," called out Marcus Rodriguez, her chief engineer. His dark eyes were fixed on the readouts streaming across his holographic display. "Whatever this thing is, it's not dead. Far from it." Sarah nodded, her short black hair catching the blue glow of the bridge instruments. "Life signs?" "None that I can detect," replied Dr. Eva Patel, their xenobiologist. "But these readings, they don't make sense." The crystalline structure appears to be both organic and synthetic simultaneously. The stellar horizon drifted closer, its maneuvering thrusters firing in short, controlled bursts. Sarah had built her reputation on being methodical, careful, qualities that had kept her crew alive, while other salvage teams disappeared into the void. But something about this discovery pulled at her, like a whisper just beyond hearing. Marcus, prep the boarding shuttle. Eva, you're with me. Tom, keep the engines hot. If anything feels wrong, you get out of here. Understood. Her first officer nodded grimly, his hands already moving across the emergency protocols. The boarding shuttle detached from the horizon with a soft thud, its spotlights illuminating the crystalline surface as they approached. Up close, the structure was even more beautiful and more alien. Patterns shifted beneath its surface like schools of fish, creating ever-changing geometries that hurt the eyes if watched too long. "This isn't like anything in the database," Eva muttered, her scanner whirring. "The molecular structure, it's as if it's responding to our presence." Sarah guided the shuttle toward what appeared to be an opening, a hexagonal portal that seemed to dilate as they approached. The landing was smooth, almost too smooth, as if the vessel had guided them in. As they donned their EVA suits, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. The airlock cycled, and they stepped into the alien ship. Their boots touched down on a surface that felt both solid and slightly yielding, like walking on packed sand. The walls curved organically, creating corridors that seemed to flow rather than connect at angles. And everywhere, that strange, pulsing light. "The atmosphere is breathable," Eva announced, checking her instruments. "Temperature stable at 20 degrees Celsius. It's almost as if it was waiting for us," Sarah finished, her voice quiet. She reached up to remove her helmet, ignoring Eva's protests. The air tasted clean, with a slight metallic tang that reminded her of mountain streams. They moved deeper into the vessel, their footsteps echoing strangely. The corridors seemed to respond to their presence, the crystalline walls brightening as they passed. Sarah felt a growing pressure in her mind, like the moment before a thunderstorm breaks. Then they found the bridge, or what had to be the bridge. The chamber was vast, dominated by a central pillar of pure crystal that stretched from floor to ceiling. Within it, patterns of light danced and swirled with increasing speed, as if agitated by their presence. "Captain," Eva's voice was tense. "These energy readings are spiking. I think we should." A beam of light shot from the crystal pillar, enveloping Sarah before anyone could react. She felt no pain, only a sudden rush of information, images and emotions that weren't her own. She saw great crystal ships moving between the stars, a civilization that had mastered the very fabric of space-time. She saw a darkness spreading between the galaxies, consuming everything in its path. And she saw Earth, a tiny blue marble, directly in its path. The light released her, and Sarah collapsed to her knees, gasping. Eva rushed to her side, but Sarah barely noticed, her mind reeling from what she had just experienced. The ship, it was alive, in its way. and it had chosen her for a purpose. "We need to get back to the horizon," she managed, her voice hoarse. "Now, what happened? What did you see?" Eva helped her to her feet, concern evident in her face. Sarah looked at the crystal pillar, which had returned to its gentle pulsing rhythm. "The end of everything," she whispered, "unless we stop it." As they hurried back to the shuttle, Sarah could feel the ship's presence in her mind, a constant hum of alien thoughts and purpose. She knew with absolute certainty that her life, and the fate of humanity, had just changed forever. The real question was, were they ready for what was coming? Looking back at the crystal pillar as they left, Sarah made a silent promise, both to herself and to the mysterious beings who had left this ship as their legacy. Whatever was coming, humanity would face it standing tall. They had not survived ice ages, plagues, and their own worst impulses to fall before this new threat. The shuttle journey back to the horizon was silent, each person lost in their own thoughts. But Sarah's mind was already racing ahead, planning, adapting. She had always prided herself on being a survivor. Now she would need to become something more, a defender of her entire species. As the horizon's docking bay enveloped them, Sarah felt the weight of destiny settling onto her shoulders. The ship had chosen her for a reason. Now she just had to prove it had chosen wisely. The stellar horizon's medbay hummed with activity as Eva ran another series of scans on Sarah's brain. It had been 48 hours since their encounter with the crystalline vessel, and the changes were becoming impossible to ignore. Patterns of light, similar to those within the alien ship, now flickered beneath Sarah's skin when she slept. "Your neural activity is off the charts," Eva said, frowning at the holographic display. "It's as if your brain has rewired itself to accommodate something else." She hesitated, choosing her words carefully. "Sarah, you need to tell me exactly what you're experiencing." Sarah closed her eyes, trying to organize her thoughts. The alien presence was constant now, a symphony of crystalline whispers that grew stronger with each passing hour. "It's showing me things," she said finally. "The beings who built the ship, they called themselves the Luminous. They weren't just advanced, Eva. They had evolved beyond physical form, becoming beings of pure energy and thought." Marcus leaned against the doorframe, his usual easygoing manner replaced by concern. "And this darkness you mentioned, the thing they were running from?" Sarah's expression darkened. "They called it the void. It's like a cancer in space-time itself. It doesn't just destroy worlds. It erases them from existence. The Luminous fought it for millennia, but they couldn't stop its advance. This ship, it's not just a vessel. It's a weapon, perhaps the last one they created before they." She trailed off as a fresh wave of alien memories washed over her. The neural link throbbed with urgency, showing her images of the void's approach. "We have 6 months," she whispered, "maybe less." The silence that followed was deafening. Tom, who had been quietly monitoring ship's communications, spoke up. "The Earth Defense Council won't believe this without proof. Hell, I'm looking right at you, and I barely believe it. Then we'll have to show them." Sarah stood, ignoring Eva's protests. "The ship, I can feel it calling. It wants to teach me how to use its systems, how to fight." Over the next weeks, Sarah spent every waking moment learning to control the crystalline vessel. The neural link grew stronger, allowing her to interface directly with its systems. The ship, which she had begun to think of as the Crystal Song, responded to her thoughts with increasing precision. The crew watched in amazement as Sarah guided the vessel through a series of maneuvers that should have been impossible. Crystalline structures grew and reformed at her command, creating weapons, shields, and technologies that defied human understanding. But the price was steep. Each session left Sarah exhausted, her dreams filled with memories of a civilization's final days. The Luminous had fought bravely, but in the end, they had failed. Their last hope lay in finding another species with the potential to succeed where they had fallen short. "They chose humans for a reason," Sarah explained to her crew one evening, her voice tired but determined. "Our adaptability, our resilience, These are qualities the Luminous never fully developed. They became so advanced that they forgot how to evolve, how to change. But we never stopped fighting, never stopped pushing forward. Eva's scans continued to show changes in Sarah's neural architecture. The integration is accelerating, she reported. The ship isn't just teaching you, Sarah. It's transforming you into something new. The implications were both thrilling and terrifying. Sarah could feel herself changing, becoming something more than human, but there was no time for fear. The void was coming, and Earth needed to be ready. The message arrived from Earth Defense Command exactly 1 month after their discovery. They had detected the crystal song's energy signature and demanded an explanation. Sarah knew the moment had come. "Plot a course for Earth," she ordered Tom. "It's time to wake humanity up to what's really out there." As the stellar horizon and the crystal song began their journey home, Sarah stood on the alien bridge, watching the stars blur past. The neural link hummed with possibilities, showing her glimpses of potential futures. In some, Earth burned. In others, humanity rose to heights the Luminous had never dreamed possible. The choice, she realized, would come down to whether humanity could overcome its divisions and face this threat united. The Luminous had given them the tools, but the strength to wield them had to come from within. Marcus appeared at her side, offering a cup of coffee, a small human comfort in the midst of cosmic revelations. "You know they're going to think we're crazy," he said, "or worse, that we're compromised." Sarah took a sip, letting the familiar warmth ground her in her humanity. "Probably," she agreed. "But we don't have the luxury of time for lengthy debates. The void is coming, whether Earth's leaders believe it or not." The crystal song systems pulsed in agreement, its alien consciousness now inextricably linked with her own. Sarah could feel it strengthening her, preparing her for the battles to come. But it was also showing her something else, a truth the Luminous had discovered too late. The key to defeating the void didn't lie in superior technology or advanced evolution. It lay in the very qualities that made humans human. Their fierce determination, their ability to face impossible odds, and their unwavering will to survive. As Earth grew larger in their view screen, Sarah made her decision. She would not let humanity face the same fate as the Luminous. Whatever the cost, whatever the sacrifice, she would help her species take its next step into the cosmos. Not as servants of ancient technology, but as its masters. Earth's orbital defense platforms tracked the crystal song's approach with growing alarm. Sarah could feel their targeting systems locking onto the vessel, their primitive energy signatures like candlelight compared to the star-bright power thrumming through the crystalline hull. "Multiple incoming transmissions," Tom announced from the Stellar Horizons Bridge. "Earth Defense Command, Solar Navy, and looks like the Science Council wants a piece of us too." Sarah stood at the junction point between the two ships, her consciousness split between human and alien systems. Through the neural link, she could sense the crystal song's unease, not at the weapons aimed at them, but at how little time remained. "Open a channel to all of them," she ordered, "and get me Admiral Chen." There was a moment of static before the holographic displays flickered to life, revealing a dozen stern faces. At their center was Admiral Helena Chen, Sarah's mother, her expression carved from stone, as she regarded her daughter and the alien vessel. "Captain Chen," the Admiral's voice was carefully neutral. "You're in command of an unregistered vessel of unknown origin. Explain yourself." Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the crystal song's encouragement through their link. "The explanation will take time we don't have, Admiral. The Earth is in danger. I need to speak with the Defense Council immediately, in person." "You're in no position to make demands," another official cut in. "That vessel will be impounded and—" The man's voice cut off as Sarah flexed her newfound abilities. The crystal song's hull shifted, becoming temporarily transparent, revealing the impossible technologies within. A demonstration, but also a warning. "We don't have time for bureaucracy," Sarah stated firmly. "The void is coming. You can either listen now, or we can wait until the first wave hits and millions die. Your choice." There was a long pause before Admiral Chen spoke again. "You have 1 hour. Landing Pad 7 at EDC headquarters. Any deviation from the approved flight path will be considered hostile action." She paused, her next words barely audible. "Don't make me regret this, Sarah." The descent through Earth's atmosphere was tense. Sarah could feel the Crystal Song's fascination with her homeworld, its oceans, its teeming life, its potential. But she could also sense its fear. The void had consumed countless worlds like this one, snuffing out entire civilizations like candles in a storm. As they landed, Sarah noticed the military units surrounding the landing pad. Through the Crystal Song's enhanced senses, she could detect energy weapons, EMP generators, and other countermeasures. Humanity preparing for the worst while hoping for the best. "Stay with the ships," she told her crew. "If anything happens," she didn't finish the sentence. They all knew the stakes. The Defense Council chamber was packed when Sarah entered. Representatives from every major Earth nation sat in tiered rows, their attention fixed on her. Some gasped at her appearance. The Neuralink had left visible traces, threads of crystalline light, that traced patterns beneath her skin. "Distinguished members of the Council," Sarah began, but was interrupted by a sudden spike of alarm through the Neuralink. The Crystal Song was detecting something at the edge of the solar system, a disturbance in spacetime itself. Without warning, every screen in the chamber blazed to life, showing deep space feeds from Earth's outermost sensors. A patch of stars was disappearing, replaced by absolute darkness that seemed to drink in light itself. "What are we looking at?" Admiral Chen demanded, but Sarah was already moving. "The first scout," she said, her voice tight. "The void sent it ahead to test our defenses. If it reports back that Earth is vulnerable." She let the implications hang in the air. "You expect us to believe?" A counselor began, but his words were drowned out by alarms. The patch of darkness was accelerating, heading directly for Pluto's orbit. Sarah closed her eyes, connecting fully with the Crystal Song. When she opened them again, they blazed with internal light. "I can stop it, but you need to trust me. Right now." Admiral Chen studied her daughter's transformed face for a long moment before turning to the council. "The floor recognizes the immediate need for action. All in favor." The vote was quick, desperation overriding caution. Within minutes, Sarah was back aboard the Crystal Song. Her consciousness merged with its systems as they prepared to engage humanity's first encounter with the void. The crystalline vessel moved with impossible speed, crossing the solar system in moments using technologies humanity had only dreamed of. Sarah could sense the scouts' confusion as they approached. It had expected easy prey, not a luminous warship. "This is it," she transmitted to both her crew and Earth Command. "Watch carefully. You need to understand what we're facing." The battle that followed would be studied for generations to come. The Crystal Song's weapons were unlike anything humanity had seen. Beams of pure possibility that rewrote the laws of physics, shields that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. But the Void Scout was equally alien, its darkness seeming to consume everything it touched. Sarah fought with everything she had, human instincts and determination combining with luminous technology in ways the original builders had never imagined. The neural link burned in her mind as she pushed the ship beyond its designed limits, refusing to yield. When it was over, the Scout was destroyed, its darkness scattered by weapons of light and thought. But Sarah knew this was just the beginning. Through the neural link, she could sense more disturbances forming at the edge of known space. "Now do you understand?" she asked the council as the Crystal Song limped back to Earth. "This was just one scout. The main force. It will be beyond anything you can imagine." The silence that followed was all the answer she needed. Humanity had just witnessed its first taste of what was coming. The question now was, would they rise to meet it, or fall like so many civilizations before them? Looking down at her homeworld through the crystal song's sensors, Sarah made a silent vow. The Luminous had chosen humanity for a reason. It was time to prove they had chosen wisely. The next 3 months transformed Earth in ways few could have imagined. The crystal song's technology catalyzed a revolution in human engineering, as scientists and engineers worked desperately to adapt luminous principles to Earth's defensive systems. Sarah watched from orbit as crystalline structures began to sprout across the planet's surface, humanity's first fumbling steps toward mastering the legacy they'd been given. But time was running out. Through the neural link, Sarah sensed more Void Scouts testing Earth's perimeter. Each encounter left her stronger, more integrated with the crystal song, but also less human. The changes worried Eva, who monitored Sarah's transformation with growing concern. "Your cellular structure is approaching a critical threshold," Eva reported during one of their regular examinations. "The crystalline integration is accelerating. Soon, you might not be able to reverse it." Sarah studied her reflection in a nearby display. Luminous patterns now flowed constantly beneath her skin, and her eyes held an inner light that never fully dimmed. "Reversing it isn't an option anymore," she said quietly. "We need every advantage we can get." The neural link pulsed with fresh information. Another scout, this one larger than the others, had appeared at the edge of the Kuiper belt. But something was different this time. The crystal song's sensors detected a pattern they'd never seen before. "They're learning," Sarah realized with growing dread, "adapting their tactics based on our previous encounters." Admiral Chen's hologram appeared in the command center. "The Council is concerned about our readiness," she said without preamble. "The planetary defense grid is only at 60% capacity, and our attempts to replicate the crystal song's weapon systems have been problematic." Sarah had seen the reports. 3 research facilities had already been lost to containment failures as humanity struggled to harness energies they barely understood. But they had no choice. The crystal song alone wouldn't be enough to defend an entire planet. "We need more time," Sarah began, but the neural link suddenly screamed a warning. The scout wasn't alone. Space itself seemed to tear open as more void entities emerged from the darkness between stars. Multiple contacts. Tom's voice was tight with tension. "I'm counting. 15. No, 20 separate entities. They're forming some kind of pattern." Sarah's consciousness merged deeper with the crystal song, accessing its vast database of tactical information. What she saw chilled her to her core. "It's not a scouting party," she transmitted to Earth Command. "This is the vanguard of their main force. They're done testing. The real invasion is beginning." Emergency alerts blared across every frequency as Earth's military mobilized. Sarah could sense the fear radiating from the planet below, but also something else: determination. Humanity had spent 3 months preparing for this moment, and they would not go quietly into the void. "All ships, battle formations," Admiral Chen ordered, her voice steady despite the circumstances. "Remember your training. We hold the line here." The Earth's hastily assembled defense fleet moved into position, a mixture of conventional warships and experimental vessels incorporating crystal song technology. Sarah felt a surge of pride as she watched them take their places. In 3 months, humanity had achieved what took other species centuries. But would it be enough? The void entities accelerated toward Earth's defensive line, their darkness consuming light and matter alike. Sarah guided the crystal song to the front of Earth's formation, its crystalline hull pulsing with gathered power. "They'll try to divide us," she transmitted to the fleet. "Don't let them isolate individual ships. Stay together, support each other. We're stronger united." The neural link hummed with tactical data as Sarah coordinated with Earth's defenders. The crystal song's consciousness merged with her own, showing her possibilities and strategies the Luminous had never considered. Human intuition combined with alien technology, creating something entirely new. The first wave of void entities struck Earth's defensive line like a hammer of darkness. Ships exploded, their crews crying out as they were consumed by living shadow. But humanity held firm. their weapons blazing with both conventional energy and crystalline light. Sarah danced the crystal song through the chaos, its weapons tearing holes in reality itself to strike at the void entities. But for every one they destroyed, two more seemed to take its place. The neural link burned in her mind as she pushed both herself and the ship beyond their limits. "We can't hold them forever." Admiral Chen's voice cut through the battle noise. "We need a new strategy." Sarah watched as another Earth ship vanished into darkness, its crew fighting to the last second. The void entities were learning, adapting to their tactics with horrifying speed. But in their adaptation, she suddenly saw a pattern, a weakness the Luminous had never noticed. The crystal song's consciousness resonated with her realization. The void wasn't just consuming reality. It was redistributing it, using the energy of what it destroyed to fuel its advance. But what if that energy could be turned against it? "All ships, fall back to secondary positions," Sarah ordered, her voice carrying both human authority and crystalline resonance. "I need time to reconfigure the crystal song's primary systems." As Earth's fleet retreated in good order, Sarah dove deeper into the neural link than ever before. The crystal song's knowledge flowed through her mind like a river of light, showing her possibilities the Luminous had never dared to explore. What she was planning went against everything they had believed about the nature of reality itself. But then, they had never truly understood the power of human desperation. Sarah's consciousness expanded through the crystal song's systems, her humanity merging with luminous technology in ways its creators had never imagined. The neural link blazed with possibility as she reconfigured the ship's fundamental structure, preparing for a desperate gamble that would either save Earth or doom it completely. "Whatever you're planning, make it quick." Admiral Chen's voice cut through her concentration. "Our lines are buckling." Through the ship's sensors, Sarah watched Earth's defenders fighting with everything they had. Human ingenuity had turned each defeat into a lesson, each loss into adaptation. They were learning, evolving their tactics even as the void entities pressed their advantage. But it wouldn't be enough. Not without something to change the fundamental nature of the battle. The Luminous tried to fight darkness with light, Sarah transmitted, her voice resonating with crystalline harmonics. They never considered that darkness itself could be turned into a weapon. The crystal song's hull began to change, its crystalline structure flowing like liquid metal. Sarah could feel the ship's consciousness working with her, understanding her intent with a clarity that transcended mere technology. They weren't just vessel and pilot anymore. They had become something entirely new. "All ships, maintain your positions," she ordered. "When I give the signal, direct all available power to your crystalline resonators. Every joule of energy matters." Eva's voice came through the neural link, tight with concern. "Sarah, the readings from your neural patterns. This level of integration wasn't meant to be possible. If you proceed." "I know," Sarah cut her off gently. "But sometimes the only way forward is through." The void entities sensed something changing. Their advance slowed as they tried to analyze this new development. Sarah felt their confusion ripple through space-time. They had consumed countless civilizations, but none had ever attempted what she was about to try. "Mom." Sarah opened a private channel to Admiral Chen. "I need you to trust me one last time." There was a long pause before her mother responded. "I always have, Sarah. Even when I didn't understand why. Whatever you're planning, make it count." Sarah closed her eyes, letting the last barriers between her consciousness and the crystal song dissolve. Energy coursed through her transformed body as the ship's systems aligned with her intent. The Luminous had built their weapon to contain the void, but containment wasn't enough. You couldn't stop darkness by trying to box it in. You had to understand it, become it, and then show it a different way to be. Now, she broadcasted to the fleet, full power to resonators. Energy surged from Earth's defenders, channeling through the crystal song's reconfigured systems. Sarah felt her consciousness expanding, touching the edge of the void itself. The darkness tried to consume her, but instead of fighting it, She embraced it. Human adaptability combined with luminous technology in a way that defied physics itself. The void entities recoiled as Sarah began to manipulate the very darkness they wielded. She wasn't just fighting them. She was rewriting the rules of their existence. The crystal song's hull turned pitch black, but it was a darkness that glowed with inner light, impossible and beautiful. You consume reality, Sarah transmitted directly to the void entities, her thoughts carrying across the gulf between forms of existence. But you never understood what reality truly is. Let me show you. The crystal song pulsed once, and reality rippled. The darkness that the void entities commanded began to turn against them, transformed by Sarah's impossible fusion of human insight and luminous technology. Where they sought to destroy, she offered transformation. Where they consumed, she showed them how to create. The battle that followed transcended human understanding. Sarah and the crystal song danced through dimensions, showing the void entities a new way to exist. Some fought against the change, dissolving into nothingness as their very nature rebelled against this new paradigm. Others, sensing a path they had never imagined, chose transformation. Earth's defenders watched in awe as darkness became light, destruction turned to creation. The void entities that remained were no longer harbingers of oblivion, but something entirely new, beings of balanced darkness and light, understanding at last that existence meant more than mere consumption. When it was over, Sarah felt herself slipping away, her consciousness spreading through the crystal song's transformed systems. She had succeeded, but the price was her humanity, at least in its original form. Sarah, Eva's voice seemed to come from a great distance. Your readings, you're evolving. Sarah completed the thought. Her voice resonated through the ship's communications, carrying echoes of both human emotion and crystalline harmony. The Luminous chose humanity because they saw our potential to become something greater than either of our species alone. Admiral Chen's hologram appeared before her, tears streaming down the usually stoic woman's face. We've won, but at what cost? Not a cost, Sarah corrected gently, her form now more energy than matter, suffused with the same crystalline light that filled the ship. A transformation. The void taught us that change is inevitable. The secret is choosing how to change. In the days that followed, humanity began to understand the true legacy of the crystal song. Sarah and the ship had become something new, a bridge between organic life and energy beings, showing a path that neither the Luminous nor humanity had imagined possible. The transformed void entities became teachers, sharing their knowledge of the cosmos' darker aspects, while learning from humanity about creation and growth. Earth's defenders incorporated these lessons into their technology, creating ships that could navigate both light and shadow. Sarah remained as humanity's guardian and guide. Her consciousness expanded, but never losing the spark of human determination that had made victory possible. She had become living proof that humanity's greatest strength was not in fighting the darkness, but in finding new ways to illuminate it. The stars beckoned, and humanity answered their call, ready at last to take their place among the cosmos' great civilizations. They carried with them the lesson that had saved their world. True power lay not in resisting change, but in choosing how to change. And in the vast expanse of space, a transformed ship of crystal and shadow washed over them, crewed by a being who was neither human nor luminous, but something gloriously, impossibly new, a testament to the power of human adaptability and the endless possibilities that arise when darkness and light learn to dance together.